Right. Right. Good morning, everyone. All the online students. Is that the screen is visible? Okay. Right. Let's get started then. So the one we have been discussing about this particular aspect of database concepts here. First, we have been done with, we will be taking with functional testing. And then we got API testing, which we will be taking with database testing here, which we will be taking this particular aspect of database testing. So the meaning of this particular database testing, which we can say that it will be mentioning that conforming data saved in proper table or not. So conforming data saved in proper table or not. So further to confirm that data has been saved in proper table or not, which it will be taking with the help of that particular SQL query statements. So how exactly we can write that particular query statement? That is what we have been discussing it. So that we have been understanding, which we will be taking with this particular aspect of query statements here. Okay. So in that particular one, to write these particular query statement, which it will be taking with that particular aspect of database commands. So if I'm just taking with the database commands, so previously we have been done with the commands which I will be taking with create command in creating with the table. After that, we have been done with insert command, inserting with the data. Then we got an alter command in updating that particular table data. In updating that particular table data. Then we got a command we will be taking with update, which we will be taking that particular aspect of update. Okay. And along with that, it will be taking with the delete command in deleting with the data. This is what we have been done with one set of commands here, which I will be saying that code operations here. And along with this particular one, which it will be taking with that particular aspect of select command. Select command has been very most important for the testers. For the testers, select command has been very most important. Okay. So while working that particular aspect of select command, so while working that particular aspect of select command, okay. So we'll be taking with this command has been used in retrieving one particular table. Then it will be taking with multiple table. So we'll go with one particular table which we will be taking with multiple table. So which we will be mentioning that it will be having one table and it will go with multiple table. In the same way, it will be taking with mention that this particular one column, which it will be taking with that particular aspect of one column, then it will be taking with multiple columns here, which I will be taking with one column, then it will be taking with that particular aspect of multiple columns. Then it will be taking with based on conditions. That is what we done with that particular one, which we have been done with. It will be taking with based on conditions. And then it will be taking with based on that particular operators here. So which I will be able to go with these particular commands here. So while working with these particular select statement, we got understand these things. Multiple tables we have not discussed, that will be looking into this. Now, along with this, we can go with that particular perspective of date commands also, which we will be able to go with that particular respective date commands here. So previously we got understand that particular select statements here. Now continued on that, let's see that how exactly it will be taking with that particular perspective of date commands. If I'm just taking with that particular date commands, how exactly it will be taking with that particular perspective of date commands here. Let's see that. Let's look into that, which it will be taking with this particular perspective of date commands. Just you can write with the new heading, mention that date commands. So all the online students also just can write with the new heading, mention that date commands and make a note of this particular syntax. Only syntax. All the description is not required. All the description is not required. Just make a note of only that particular aspect of syntax here. Next, continue the same. Just make a note of these particular syntax. Next, these particular syntax. Just some regular common syntaxes only. Just make a note of that particular respective syntax. Right. And the last one, last, this particular syntax. All the online students also, please make a note of that particular respective syntaxes. Right. Continue the last one. This particular syntax. Right. See the understanding. So while working this particular aspect of database, the whole conclusion is we need to be get understand that how exactly we can retrieve data from that particular database. So to retrieve the data from database, which we will be taking with this particular aspect of database commands here. So previously we got understand that how exactly we can go with in creating with the table, inserting with the data, updating the table data, deleting with the tables. These regular commands we understand. Along with that, we got understand that particular select statement. With the help of that particular select statement, we are working with one particular table. From that particular table, we are able to get retrieve the data. From one particular table, we are able to retrieve that particular respective data. Now, continued with the same thing, we need to be get understand these particular date commands also. With the help of these particular date commands, we got an option, we got a possibility in retrieving that particular current date, mentioning that select it will be taking with sysdate, provide that particular table name. Now, if I'm just taking with this particular sysdate, it is considering the system date. The meaning of that particular sysdate is which I will be considering that you will be taking with system date. What exactly that particular current date is there? So what exactly that particular current date is there? You will be taking with this particular aspect of sys date. So that you will be taking with the current date. But it is able to get provide, it is able to get provide only date here. In case if you required that particular date and time, if you required that particular date and time, then it will be mentioning that it will be taking with current underscore, it will be taking with timestamp. If you consider that particular one, which it will be taking with current underscore timestamp, then it will be taking with this particular including that particular time also, which it will be taking with including that particular respective time also will be provided. The one you will be taking with sysdate, which you will be taking with only current date. Then you will be taking with current underscore timestamp. You will be getting that particular date and you will be taking with time also. In the same way, we can go with this particular sysdate only. From this particular sysdate, we can go with and having with that particular previous date also. For example, it has been providing with the current date. I will be taking with plus 5. From the current date, it will be taking with future date. From that particular current date, it will be taking with that particular future date. It will be taking with that particular respective of future date here. In the same way, it will be taking with this particular minus, which it will be taking with that particular previous date. So which you will be taking with that particular respective of minus, which you will be taking with that particular respective of previous date here. So this is what it will be taking with, it will be having these particular steps here. So in this way, it will be taking with these particular steps. So this is how we can go with that particular current date which we will be taking within the future date, and then we can take with that particular future month also, or we can go with that particular previous date also. This is how we have an option, we have a possibility in working these particular respective of date commands also. And all these particular things again we can consider one level of the concepts here. After that, we got in a next level of the concept. That is what it will be taking with this particular joins concept. While working this particular database, we got an option it will be taking with this particular joins concept. If I'm just taking with this particular joins concept, the meaning of joins is in simple, we can mention that to retrieve data from to retrieve data from more than one particular table. To retrieve data from more than one particular table that it will be taking with joins concept. While working these particular joins concept, while working this particular joins concept, it will be taking with while working that particular perspective of joints concept, it will be taking with this particular perspective of, it will be having different types of joints here. That is what we can mention that particular three types here, which we will be taking with these particular three types of joints concept. Okay. So if I just go with these particular three types, sometimes the people will mention five types also. Based on these particular three types, we can come up with in taking with that particular five types also. But which we will be taking with these particular three types here. In these particular three types, it will mention that the one it will be taking with inner join, which it will be taking with that particular respective of inner join here. Okay, so which I will be taking with this particular respective of inner join. Then it will be taking with, it will be having that particular left join. Then it will go with this particular right join, which it will go with these particular joints concept. We can mention that it will be taking with these particular three types of joints here. One, it will be mentioned that inner joint, and one, it will mention that left joint, and one, it will be mentioning that it will be taking with that particular right joint here. So now, based on these particular three types, you can mention, we can prepare five types of joints also, but always you need to be get comfortable with these particular three types of joints concepts here. Okay. So that particular three types, which it will be taking with inner joint. The meaning of this particular perspective of inner joint. If I'm just taking with this particular perspective of inner joint, we can mention to retrieve matching records of both the tables. To retrieve matching records of both the tables, which it will be taking with these particular respective of inner join. We can mention that to retrieve matching records of both the tables. So the meaning of this particular statement. So the meaning of this particular statement is when you are having two tables, in both the tables, whatever the matching records are there, in both the tables, whatever that matching records are there, it will be retrieving matching records of both the tables. Then you will go with left join. If I'm just taking with left join, left join is, it will be mentioning that to retrieve all the data, to retrieve all the data from left table, to retrieve all the data from left table and matching records of right table, matching records of right table. So which you will be taking with that particular inner join, and then you will be taking with left join. So to retrieve all the data from left table and matching records of right table. In the same way, you will be taking with right join. Right join is, we can say that to retrieve all the data, to retrieve all the data from, okay, to retrieve all the data from right table, to retrieve all the data from right table, and you will be taking with matching records of left table, matching records of left table. So that is what you will be taking with this particular right join here. So to retrieve all the data from right table and matching records of left table. This is how we can go with in utilizing this particular joins concept here. So let's see that how exactly we can go with this particular aspect of joins. Okay. So for that, let's go with these two tables here. But for now, we got this particular one. So while working the system date, I just given only previous date here. In the same way, we can try with the previous month also. We can mention month, we can try year also, or we can go with round function. Round function means nearest value. Like we have in a 9, 9 means that nearest value round figure will say that 10. In case of 2, the round figure will say that 1. Nearest value, nearest date, it's need to be returned. So we have different type of these particular select date commands, you can utilize it. Now, if we look into the table, what is the table we got? Select start from employee 77. This is one particular table we are already created. Now, we need to work with joins concept. If you want to work with that particular joins concept, we require one more particular table. So for the practice, to go with that particular joins example, let's go with in creating one more particular table. First, I'm taking this table. Oh. So this particular table, we mentioned that it will be taking with employee 77. Now let's create one more table. Creating the table, we are already knowing it. So we'll be knowing that which it will be using that particular create command. It will be taking with the create and then taking with the table, mention that particular table ID 077. Then it will be mentioning that particular column name, employee number. It will be taking with that particular integer. In the same way, it will be taking with that particular employee HR or location, that it will be taking with varchar. It will be providing size, which it will be taking that 40. Then you will go with that particular employee HR. Then you will be consider that you will be taking with varchar. Then you will be taking with that particular 50. Okay. Now let's go with this particular execution. If I just run this, it will be able to see table is created. So we got a create command. We got a create command which has been used in creating that particular table. To confirm that table is created or not, it will be taking with star from employee that particular 077. That particular table is created. So create command, it will go with just only creating with the table. Create command, it will just go with in creating that particular respective of table. Now, once table has been created, we are doing that particular insert command. Now, inserting with the data, insert into, it will be providing that particular table, that it will be taking with employee 77. Directly, it will be taking with the values, it will be providing that particular values. Employee number, and then it will be taking with employee location, then it will be taking with employee HR, that it will be taking with HR1. I'll go with execution, that particular date got inserted. Okay. Then it will be taking with the 3, which it will be mentioning that particular execution, it will be taking with the 2. Just randomly, I'm just inserting that particular data, which it will be taking with that particular one, it will be provided that particular 3. Thus it will be provided, which it will be taking with 6. So in this way, it will go with, in this way, it will be able to go with in having these particular respective of data here. So this is how it will be taking with this particular step. Now let's see that particular table. Select start from EMP employee 77. If I just go with the run, it will be able to see that particular table is created. So we are able to see that that particular respective table has been created. So in this way, it will be able to go with these particular steps here. So as part of that particular requirement, we have to get understand how we can follow that particular syntaxes here. As part of these particular database, we need to be get understand all that particular syntax. Okay, that we got. Now both the tables has been available. So which it will be taking with that particular respective of, which it will be taking with that particular respective of, both the tables has been available. Okay. Now you can see here, which you will be mentioning that you will be taking with this particular one. Okay. Right. So which you will be taking with this particular one. So which you will be taking this particular screenshot. Now we'll go with this table. Okay. So this is employee 077. Okay, done. So now we have in a two tables are there. With the help of joins concept, we have to connect these two tables here. Let's see that how exactly we can connect with the two tables here. For that, we can first make a note of that particular syntax. Just make a note of that particular syntax here. Mention with the heading as a syntax. Make a note of these particular syntax. When you're writing inner join, here only provide the slash. After inner join, provide the forward slash, mention that right join, then provide the forward slash, mention that right join here. That particular inner join and then taking with left join, which I will be taking with right join. Same syntax only, just you can mention that I will be taking with that particular respective of inner join. After inner join, provide the forward slash, mention that left join, forward slash, mention that right join. Right. Let's understand. So how exactly we can work with these particular joints concept here? First, I will be taking with all the execution. First, we'll go with all that particular execution and we'll compare the results. Then we'll understand how that query statements are working, how that joins concept is working. See that. First, I'm using the select command only. Select employee ID from employee 77. This is the first table. This particular first table, I want to apply that particular inner join. I am just using that particular inner join. I am joining with second table. Second table, we got an employee 077. So how I'm making with the connectivity? So how I'm just making with the connectivity, right? So which I will be taking with that particular perspective of connectivity is which I will be taking with on, I will be taking with first table. In the first table, I'm taking employee ID. In the first table, I will be taking with the employee ID. That particular employee ID, I'm connecting with second table of employee number because that is a common data. If you look into this, we got an employee ID. So here we got an option of employee ID. We got an option of employee number. Taking with these two column names as we got in a similar data, and then we are connecting with the table with the help of inner join concept. With the help of that particular inner join concept here. Okay, done. Now I will be taking with this particular one. So here, if I'm taking with the execution, what is the meaning of the inner join? Meaning of inner join is matching records of both the table. From the both the table, whatever the records are matching, it's need to be get able to retrieve all that particular records. Matching records of both the table. See here. This is, you will be considering that you will be taking with that particular perspective of inner join, which you will be taking with that particular inner join. If I'm just taking with that particular perspective of inner join, matching records of both the table. From the first table, 101, second table, 101, both are matching. First table 102, second table 102, both are matching it. So till 106 it has been matching. Till 106 it has been matching it, and then it has been printing that particular data. So meaning of inner join is matching records of both the table. From the both the table, what are all that particular matching records are there, it will be able to retrieve that particular data. In the same way, you will be taking with that particular perspective of left join, which you will be taking with left join. If I'm just taking with left join, let's see that how it will be working. If I'm considering this particular left join, the functionality of left join is the functionality of left join is we can say that matching records of left table. Matching records of left table. This will be taking with left join. If I'm just taking with the left join is all the records from left table. All the records from left table. So left table up to 110, it will be retrieving it. In the same way, it will be taking with the matching records of right table. As 106 already matching it, the data already retrieved. So which it will be printing that it will be taking with up to that particular 106. So that is what it will be taking with left join. So don't be confused, guys. The meaning of left join is matching records, which it will be taking with matching records of that particular left table. Sorry, all the data from left table and matching records of right table. That is what it will be taking with this particular perspective of left join. Don't be confused here. You can consider this is for me, this is an a left and this is an a right. In your case, it's like reverse. Now, left join means all the data from the left table. It has been taken all the data. Along with that, matching records from the right table. Up to 106, it is matching. It has been already retrieved the data. That is what we will be taking with left join. So all the data from left table matching records of right table. In the same way, it will be taking with that particular right join. In the same way, it will be taking with right join. See the functionality. Meaning of right join. All the data from right table. Okay. Right, guys. See that? So if I'm just taking with this particular right join, see the concept. If I'm just taking with this particular respective right join. So if I'm just taking with this particular respective right join is all the data from right table matching records of left table. So all the data from right table and matching records of left table. So all the data up to 106 and the left table what are matching up to 106 only. From 107 it is not matching it. So it is not able to print that particular data. So here concept is very straightforward. When we are mentioning that these particular respective of inner join, the meaning of this particular respective of inner join is we can say that matching records of both the table, matching records of both the table and left join. Left join is you will be taking with to retrieve all the data from left table. To retrieve all the data from left table and matching records of right table. To retrieve all the data from left table and matching records of right table. Then you will be taking with right join. So right join is all the data from right table and matching records of left table. So this is how we can go with in utilizing different type of query statements here. So the whole conclusion is as part of that particular interview, in case if interviewer is asking a question. Okay, so which we can say that it will be taking with that particular interviewer if asking a question related to that particular query statement. You have to comfortable in writing different type of query statements here. So this is how you can go with the practice of in utilizing these particular select statement. Most of the time you have to spend in working with that particular select statement here. Okay. Now, these are all individual things. Till now, what we done? We connected with the database, and from the database, we are able to retrieve the data here. Continued with the same thing, we got an option, we got a possibility in working playwright with database. So how you will be working with playwright with database? That is what the concept here. Let's see that. I can write in a heading, mention that database plus application plus it will be taking with reports. Meaning of this statement, meaning of this particular statement. Reading the data, reading the data from database. Reading the data from database and apply with application. Apply with application and generate the report. Generate the report. Okay. So reading the data from database and apply with application and generate the report. So here, if I just go with this particular database, in the database, you are maintaining test data. You are maintaining test data. One, you will be taking with username. Then you will be taking with password. So the test data we are maintaining, which you will be taking with username and password. Okay. So after that, you will be taking with which we got that particular test data. Now, with the help of automation, we have to read the data from database and that particular test data apply with application and generate with the report. So how you will be doing that? As simple. So here, reading the data from database, you will be taking with the help of TypeScript only. There is no way of connectivity with the playwright. If you want to communicate, if you want to work with the database, you will be taking with the help of TypeScript only. There is no way of connectivity of the playwright. Once you got connected to the database, that particular data apply with application, then you will be taking with playwright. Because to communicate with application, to communicate with application, you will be taking with the help of that particular aspect of playwright. To communicate with application, you will be taking with the help of that particular aspect of playwright. So that is what you will be mentioning, that you will be taking with these particular steps here. So in this way, we can go with this particular one. So TypeScript, you will be taking with the playwright. That report, you will be mentioning that our default HTML reports, which will be taking with that particular perspective of default HTML report. Okay. So this is what it will be mentioning, that it will be taking with these particular steps here. So now previously we are already knowing working with the playwright HTML report by default it will be there. TypeScript concepts we are already knowing it, but with the respective of database, how you will be able to write that program, that is what we need to be get understand. So now let's go with how exactly we can write in a program in connecting to that particular database. So how exactly we can write in a program in connecting to that particular perspective of database. Let's see here. For that, first in the database, let me create one particular table. I have been already created one particular table in the database, providing with the table name, providing with the table name by considering that login, providing with the table name by considering that login. Now in the login table, we provided username and we got password. Send the login table, we got a username and we got that particular password. Okay. Now let's see that how exactly we can go with in reading with the data from database. We need to write in a program in reading with the data from database. Let's see that how we can do that. Okay. Now, as usual, we have to write in a program in VS Code. We have to write in a program in VS Code. If you want to write in a program in VS Code, previously to get any access of that particular playwright methods, we install playwright in the VS Code. In the same way, we done with the Excel. While working with the Excel, we got install that particular Excel in playwright in the VS Code. In the same way, now we are working database. So to work with that particular database, whatever the database you are working related to that particular database, you need to be get install that particular libraries. You need to be get install that particular libraries. So for now, we are working with Oracle. In my laptop, I got installed that particular Oracle. So I need to be get go with in installing that particular library. So commands are very straightforward. npm install Oracle DB. So this is a one main advantage while working with the VS Code. Whenever you are working that particular VS Code as part of that particular requirement. So while working that particular aspect of VS Code, whatever that particular plugins, the library files has been required, you need to be get install that particular aspect of library files here. Now let's go with in installing this particular aspect of Oracle. That I will be taking 77 batch. You will be providing open in integrated terminal, which I will be taking with open in integrated terminal. See the command here, you will mention npm install because of Oracle DB. Previously, when you're working with the Excel, we mentioned that XLSX. While working with the Playwright, we mentioned with the Playwright. So your whole programming, you require that related libraries. If libraries are available, based on that, you'll go with the required modules. Based on that, you'll take in a class. Based on the class, I will take in a method and I will perform that particular respective action. Okay. So I'm just clicking on enter. Right. Now it will be able to install that particular libraries. Along with that, related to that particular Oracle, related to that particular Oracle, I want to go with in installing that particular dependencies. I need to be get install that particular respective of dependencies. So let's see that how we are installing that particular respective dependencies. So this is what it will be taking with, it will be continued with installation. Once installation is completed, as usual, it will continue with the same thing. It will go with right click, new file. Mention that TC and then database, and then you will be taking playwright dot spec dot ts. Okay. Now you have to write a code. See that how we are working. First I will be taking with import, which I will be taking with that particular import. I will be taking with Oracle DB. Because we are working Oracle, I was importing that related modules here. Then you will be taking with that particular playwright, which I will be taking with test module from that particular playwright test, which I will be taking with that particular aspect of test model. Now, whenever you're working with this particular aspect of database, so whenever you're working with this particular aspect of database, first you need to be get connected to the database. So let's see that, which I will be taking with database, and then you will be taking with that particular playwright. Okay. Now we are providing that particular page reference. You will be taking with the page. First, what I need to do, I need to connect this database. Manually, how we connected? We click on plus button. Once I got click on the plus button, asking for name and then database type, username, password, host name, port number, serial ID. So all these details are provided. Then we got click on connect. It got connected here. This will be taking with this. It will be mentioning that you will be having with that particular aspect of connect. Okay. Let's see here. Right. So here it will be taking with this particular one. So as part of to connect it manual, we provided all the details here. So while working that particular automation also in a similar way with the help of the programming. With the help of the programming, we need to be get provide. With the help of programming, we need to be get provide all that particular details here. So let's see that how exactly we can go with these particular respective of details. So how exactly we can go with these particular respective details need to be get provided here. Okay. So this is we need to be get understand. Let's see that. For that, first, you will be taking with that particular connection. First, we need to be get set up with the connection. Okay. Now, see that how we are doing this particular connection. First, we are taking one variable. Variable name can be anything. Wait. We are already imported that Oracle. We install that Oracle model. Because of that, we are taking with Oracle DB. From there, you are using with the method name of get connection. For this connection, what you have to provide? Username. I'm just providing my username and then providing password. I'm providing my password what I have been mentioned at the time of database installation. Okay. After that, I will be taking with connection string. So that particular connection string, it will be taking with localhost and then that particular port number. So that particular port number, it will be taking it. Hello. So here, which you will be able to go with these particular, from where I'm getting all these details here, see that. If I look into my local system, what is the host name? Localhost. Port number 1521. And I got connected with the Oracle WarCL. So manually, we are entering from the UI. Automation, same details we are providing through programming, which I will be taking with WarCL. So by this, it will be connecting to that particular database. Any database, it will follow with the same. Any kind of database, it will follow with the same thing. First, we have to provide it that particular connection string, which will be providing that particular details. Once connection has been established, now I need to execute the query. Previously, manually, I written here and I'm clicking on the run button. Now this process I was automating it. So in the program, I'm executing the same query statement. Once I execute, I will get a result. So that I'm taking with result equal to, it will be taking with await connection. See here, if I'm taking with the connection dot execute, what it has to execute, select star from login. So that is the query statement. Any query statement. So whatever the query statement you want to execute it, it will be taking with that particular query statement. Once you execute it, it will give the result and it will be printing with the result. Printing with the result perfectly okay. But our requirement is not like just only printing with the result. Our requirement is we have to assign to that particular variable. We need to be get retrieve the data and then we have to assign to that particular respective of variable. For that, either it can go with assigning individually or it can take with the help of loop concept also. For example, I will be taking with that particular loop concept. In that particular for loop, I will be taking with let I equal to 0, which I will be taking with let I equal to 0. Then in that particular table, how many rows are there? Length is nothing but count. How many rows are there? That many times. It's need to continue the loop. Then it will be taking with let I will be taking with database username. Then you will be taking with database password. And we are printing that particular database username and we are printing database password. Here, what is the I value? 0. See this particular table. This is header, you can ignore it. Header you will ignore. This is in a 0. I value, that row is 0, column is 0. That is we mention. Next is that I, row is 0, column is 1. So that particular row is 1, sorry, 0, column is 1. We are finding the cell details assigned to the variable and printing that particular data. Now, this particular data apply with application. Now, we need to go with apply with application. So, we need to apply with application. So, to apply with the application, common thing. You need to apply with application that it will be taking with that particular common concept. That is, first we will be taking with enter that particular URL. We need to go with in entering that particular application URL. So whatever that particular application is there, we need to provide that particular application URL. So let's see here in providing that particular application URL. Okay, done. Now see that which I will be taking that application URLs. Okay, and after that I'm just providing that particular wait statement, wait for timeout. All these things we are already knowing it, just will be continued with the same. Then you will be printing with the statement console dot log, you will be taking with application open. After that, you have to enter username. Enter username and password from database. Okay. For that, you will be taking await page dot, you will be taking locator. Then you will be providing locator details. You will be taking input square brackets at the rate name equal to single quote txt username. Then you will be calling that particular database username, database password. For the confirmation, I will be providing wait statement, which I'll provide wait statement. I'll mention that these particular login credentials enter. Then you will be clicking which you will be performing the statements login completed. Then you will go with that particular logout. Click on logout option. So once I got click on logout option, that I will be taking with await, I will be taking with get by role. Then I will be taking it in logout completed. And finally, we need to go with in close that particular database connection. I will be taking with await database dot close. So this is how we got an option. We will be taking with this particular step. See the whole program. It is giving an error, no worries about on that, it will work. First, we imported required models created with the test method. First, we created with the connection by giving with the required details. So here, get connection is a predefined method which is available in the Oracle. From that connection, we are executing the query statement, assigning the result, printing with the result. From the result, we are retrieving username and password based on that particular cell details, and then it will be applying with application. Open the application, enter the username, enter the password, doing the login, checking with the logout and close the application. Now you can see how exactly we can execute this particular program. Now see that it will be taking with npx and then playwright. It will be taking with test. Then it will mention tc underscore. It will be taking db underscore playwright dot spec dot ts. It will be taking with headed mode. If I go with the execution, you will be able to see all the steps has been performing. Let's see that. It's need to be able to enter username and password, then checking with the login, checking with the logout and close application. So we are working, reading the data from database and apply with application and generate with the report. In a real time, is it mandatory we have to work these kind of programs? It depends on that particular requirement. But as part of interview, always it is better suggestible in having all that particular concepts here. So that is what we have been done with this particular program of reading the data from database and apply with application and generating the report. Let's see here. I'm just executing once again. So whatever the data it was entering, it has been retrieved from the database and then entering with the data here. So this is what it will be working with the concept of, it will be taking with working the combination database and then application and then taking with report. So this it will be taking with all our concepts of functional testing, API testing, and then database concepts here. So next we need to get start with another important one. That is what we have to started with AI concepts here. So from Monday we'll be getting started with that particular AI concepts here. After completion of all that particular AI concepts, then we'll be taking with the resume session here. So from Monday, we'll be getting started with all that particular AI concepts here. So it will take some time to discuss all the AI concepts. Till now, whatever the things we have been done in the easy way, how we can do with the help of AI, that will be understanding. But take care about the practice of all the concepts here, functional and then API, and then it will be taking with database. So in the real time, it will be working or not, that is a different case. But as part of the real time, you have to get comfortable in working on it. Okay. So please take care about that particular practice. Continue that particular practice here. Clear? Right. Any questions? You guys can carry on your questions.
Hi sir, I have a query here. How will we confirm the connection has been got connected?
We
Like
are
if I
getting
add,
the result, right? So otherwise we can write that particular state. So here we can add one particular printf statement. So now the connection has been done, right? So once that particular connection has been done, we can write in a printf statement which is saying that connection is successful. So because
no,
that code has been successful, then only we'll be able to see that it has been printing that particular statement here.
I mean in case if the connection is not established, I will not be getting the results, right?
No, yes.
So result dot rows will throw me error or how?
It will give an error. Obviously, it will give an error. In case of this connection, for example, if I give some wrong password here, if I run the program there itself, it will be giving an error. At the time of execution, it will give an error.
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to ask, like for Oracle DB, what we are doing right now, it's already installed on your system.
Correct.
So is it mandatory for us to install it on the system before executing?
Yes, obviously, right? If it is not there, it cannot be able to connect it, right?
Okay, because if we want to execute on the multiple VMwares and all, right, how are we going to do that? Then
Multiple VMwares, then here I given the local host, right? In a place of
Mhm.
local host, they will be giving that particular IP address of that particular server.
Okay.
Mm. So this
Okay.
is that at the time of connection string, we are clearly mentioned that localhost means, so in my local system, in this port number, this database got available. In case of the servers, we need to provide that particular server details.
Okay.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And one more question I had on the yesterday's session was when we are adding a column into a table,
Yeah,
like using the alter,
yeah,
right? So the data will get added, like we'll have to add the data later on, right?
yeah. Alter will help you that only updating the table column, not table data. If you want to
Hmm.
update the table data, then you will be taking update command.
Okay.
So two different commands are there. One is alter, one is update. Alter is for only updating the table column. And this particular update command is updating the table data. Okay.
Okay. Like if I want to add some default value for the table, for the column, how will I do that? Then I will have to use update only.
Yes, update only.
Okay.
Because if you want to connect anything related to the rows and columns, that inserting the updating the table data, you will be
Mhm.
taking with the help of that update command only.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. No more other questions, right? Okay, then. Please take care about the practice. Meet you on Monday. Thank you.